the DanceSpeak podcast YouTube channel, where each week I interview a new dancer, mover, shaker in our industry. Before you check out the episode, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and also check out the full library on iTunes and Google Play Music. Enjoy! Alright guys, let's pretend there's not a camera here.
Can you see my feet? Okay.
I am sitting here with Cat Cogliandro. Did I say it right?
Cogliandro.
Shit!
Everyone makes their own pronunciation. It's okay.
Okay. There's a camera. Damn it.
I know, I curse, so I'm a little scared.
Oh, you totally can.
Okay.
Yeah, I decided I don't. Okay, I'm gonna just go ignorant. Until I stop seeing 6-year-olds dancing sexy, I can cuss on my podcast.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
And then we could have a conversation, but I'll probably still cuss. The way that we know each other, and I love this, we were connected by Lexi Theodore, who works at Movement Lifestyle, who listens to the podcast and thought that you'd be a great guest. And you were just wonderful to connect with and really warm.
Thank you.
And that's how it happened. So listeners, you make a difference. So let's jump into it I'm actually really curious about your training. Mm-hmm. You got a BFA in dance from SUNY Purchase. Mm-hmm. And I read that it seemed like you were really impacted by the modern program. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to know a little bit about your modern training. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
I didn't actually start to dabble in modern dance until I went to Purchase. I kind of took my first class when I was like 18. I was like, this sucks. This is so boring. Like, how could anyone want to do this all the time? Like, it's like more boring ballet. And then I went to Purchase and I started doing Graham. And there's this like raw, guttural, like intense, womanly, empowering energy about Graham and the contraction and the use of your body and the dramatics. And I just was like, this is it. I loved my teacher. And from that moment forward, I really dove into modern dance and I just loved it. I love all the styles of it. I've trained more so in like Cunningham, Lamone, Graham. Mm-hmm. I didn't really get into Horton as much. It just wasn't part of our training, but yeah.
That's awesome. And then how do you define contemporary dance? Because I see that word come up a lot for different...
Yeah, I feel like there's a big confusion on that right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see like modern in like at competition and I'm like, this is contemporary. This is not modern dance. Contemporary to me, personally, is... it's bringing the music to life. Mm-hmm. It's how to artistically, physically bring music to life in a real, honest way. It's raw and it's real and it's emotional and it's full and colorful.
Cool.
There's layers to contemporary dance, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then what? I want to be careful. Okay, I won't be careful. So I grew up looking at contemporary as there were certain techniques of contemporary because they were after the modern techniques. Mm-hmm. And then I saw more ballet-based contemporary and like complexions. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then out here in LA, I started seeing more dancers who were in the vein of hip hop, doing more kind of mime-ish movements and calling it contemporary. Mm-hmm. Is that contemporary?
Slippery hip hop. We like to call it slippery hip hop. Yeah, I think those are all exciting genres of contemporary. Like ballet contemporary definitely I think came first. And then I feel like Mia Michaels came around and was like through this like new dramatic thing. And So You Think started to come around. And that's really when like contemporary, like lyrical jazz contemporary I think started to come in. And then came in like the hip hop fusion. Mm-hmm. And I call that fusion contemporary. Which terrifies me the most because I feel like a lot of the people teaching fusion aren't trained in both styles and should be more trained in street styles of hip hop and vice versa trained in. So I see hip hop teachers teaching contemporary and I'm like, you've never had a ballet class. These aren't just positions we do. So I think the titling of it is really important, but also like, you know, if you love what you do whatever the hell you want. Oh, let's just educate properly. You know what I mean? Let's teach the kids where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What would you recommend? So I know for me, when I was younger, I did some modern not much, and it was more important.
Mm.
I did some ballet, jazz. Technically, on my body, it never, like, no flexibility, nothing, no turnout, nothing. And then I got much more into hip hop and street styles and everything. Now I want to do every type of dance that inspires me, but I feel like it's not appropriate for me to jump into a lot of contemporary classes because technically everyone is so much farther along.
Yeah, but why does it matter about what everyone else is doing? You know
cool.
what I mean?
I want to make sure I'm not, like, doing an injustice.
You gotta start somewhere. And, like, if you're interested in contemporary, just jump in. Just do it. If you're a hip-hop dancer, I feel like there's a home for hip-hop. That's what I love contemporary the most is, like, if you're taking it, is there should be a home for the hip-hop dancer, the tap dancer, the lyrical dancer. Contemporary is all-encompassing.
Awesome. So if I was like, I really want to take Kat's class,
you'd be fine.
Are you serious?
Yes, and I actually love when hip-hop dancers take my class because it gives me an opportunity to learn too because hip-hop is a terrifying genre for me. So, like, I'm in the opposite place of you. I'm jumping into hip-hop now, like more street styles and trying to understand more body control, and I'm seeing the way it affects the way I dance too. So it's really cool.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
I love it. Who are the choreographers that you've been most impacted by?
Choreographers I've been most impacted by.
Because I see you've worked with some really exciting people. Sonia Taye, Taistiorio.
Yeah, Sonia Taye was a huge part of my training. Not just like my dance training, but my life training. She, whether she knows it or not, really challenged
How so?
me. She broke me down. She broke me down, and I don't think she meant to, and I don't think she thought about doing it on purpose. I think just like, you know, you meet someone and you kind of get along, and they make you feel safe, and she scared me. She scared the shit out of me, and that broke me down, and it really highlighted my insecurity. And whether she meant to or not, she highlighted my insecurity, which inspired me to do more self-work. And later in life, now I'm here doing all the self-work, and I think she's one of the best teachers I've ever had because she truly taught me so much about commercial dance and staying true to yourself. And, you know, but in turn, like, there was this like competitive aspect to the work that was really hard for me. I think that was my own thing though. I don't blame her for that.
Yeah.
She taught me how to stand on my leg still and be strong. She had a lot of impact. Adam Barrick, Sidra Bell, people I didn't really name in my bio probably as much, but who have had huge impacts. Peter Chu, Jess Hendricks, they all trained me at a young age. Greg Dolbashin. And then, some of the bigger ones, like Taistiorio, who's won an Emmy. Like, he has taught me so much about commercial dance and, like, you know, standing up for yourself and being true to who you are. I've learned most of my lessons, I think, the hard way. I worked with a choreographer here in LA, Jackie Royal, who just destroyed my body. And I learned...
you mean like pushing it too much?
Yeah, like her work is just so damaging on, like, I think some people were made to do her work. I personally don't think I was. And it was really hard for me. I was like working with this woman who I loved, and I love her choreography, but because I couldn't do a backflip on my arm, I wasn't in certain things, and I was pushed to the back, and I pulled my calf the night before our show, and it was really psychologically hard, but I learned a lot about myself. I learned about injury prevention. I learned that I need to go to a chiropractor every week.
Yes!
And I learned I need to get massages. And, you know, these are all things that I thought, well, that's so bougie. Like, if you have the money to get a massage, like, oh, you're just being bougie. But no, like, she taught me that body care is the most important thing. And working out, going to the gym, she inspired me to get back into the gym. And I'd actually be interested to re-tackle her work now that I have a stronger body, because her work requires strength in a different way. So it was inspiring. It was hard. I resented her for a long time, and no longer. I'm inspired.
Awesome. That's so awesome. Do you take any days off for your body?
Yes, now I do.
Okay.
Now I do.
So have you, in the midst of jobs coming as they do and traveling and everything being crazy, what do you make sure to get done for your body in terms of rest, in terms of self-care?
Stretching. I've put in my I
Every day,
used to
twice a
stretch
day?
every day. Yeah, every day, at least every day. I try to meditate every day. That's been really hard. I try to write every day. I try to self-affirm every day. I try to go to the gym every day, even when I'm tired, at least to sit in the sauna and like take a few deep breaths. The going to the gym has been really a new thing I've added to my life, and I love it. I just love working out and getting active, and I was an athlete before I was, like...
Wait, tell me about that.
Yeah, I played volleyball in high school, and I swam, and I played tennis, and I was
awesome.
a really good tennis player. It was good for my competitiveness. I'm a very competitive person, and dance doesn't glorify that. They tell you to shove it down and pretend it doesn't exist, but it's so competitive. Like, why do we pretend it's not competitive?
I see it a lot. I was talking to a dance mom the other day, and that's all she knows, actually. But they do dance competitions.
Right, but it's it's like uncool to be openly competitive. It's like rude in the dance. I mean, people do it anyway, but it's
so competitive.
Rude.
Yeah, so interesting.
But like, I want this job.
Yeah.
But in sports, it's like, I'm gonna beat you. My ex used to say this. He always used to be like, "I'm gonna beat you because I'm stronger than you, not because of my art or my flexibility. Like, art is subjective, but sports, that's down to the minute. That's down to your strength. But dance isn't like that. It's like, well, you're more flexible than me, but you're more artistic. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't have the feeling, I'm not saying that that's what competition is, that like you need to suck or like down with you. I want everyone to be at their top, because then that motivates me. And it feels this like fun in the way that Monopoly is fun. Like, okay, I'm gonna get to Park Place, then get Park Place, and it's like that. And I love feeling that way. But I want everyone to also be amazing, because I really want to be like better.
Right.
Yeah, that's incredible. Is there a sport or something that you learned in sports physically that's helped you with dance?
Teamwork. We lack that in dance. The camaraderie, pulling together, supporting each other. Getting through it together. I feel like dance seems like such an individual sport.
Yeah.
But it's so lonely. Once you get to the finish line, you're like looking around, you're like, oh, I booked this music video, and like I'm the director, and I have none of my friends that I want to hire because I have no friends, and I've screwed everyone over. And hard work pays off. That sports taught me that. Like, if you work hard for it, you can truly make it happen. If I go to my hip hop classes every single week and like really train in these specific styles, that I can become a better dancer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm like so conscious that you don't have to cut this out, that the camera's here. I'm so used to having just the audio.
I know,
and I can like freeze for a while and find my thoughts. I say, if we can, as long as I'm not ruining it, let's really pretend that the camera's not here, unless we like have a camera moment. And let this be like raw, uncut footage, and let people see really what it's like in the room, because I created this podcast so people could be a fly on the wall, just how I'd want to be in a conversation.
I move around a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Is that okay, Steve? Like,
Perfect.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to catch myself also and let myself find my thoughts. And, viewers, if you're watching, we made the choice, again, to have this be more raw footage. So please learn from it, and maybe like get a cup of coffee so you can sip on that coffee if I'm pausing for too long. But I want it to be two people in a room, not even really like a host and interviewer and subject. Two people just having a conversation. So where were we? Teamwork. Do you feel like, because you've done really, like, you're doing really well, like you're traveling, you've done shows. Did you feel like you had people support before as you were going along this process?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
What was a really strong yes and a really strong no? Or significant?
Lately, I've had really good support.
Yeah.
I have a mentor that I've never had mentors like I have right now, who are like truly supportive. Like, call me on the phone, like, are you okay? Like, really, like, what are you feeling? What are you going through? How are you? How's your brother? How's your mom? Like, they know me, and they know what hurts me, and they dig it up and force me to talk about it. I think that's a really good support system. Also, my parents, hugely supportive. Like, could not afford to put me through dance at one point and did it anyway. And they've shown me what it means to work hard for what you have. Non-support, I feel like I get more of that than none. I think a lot of people say they support you, but they don't really. Like when it comes down to support, like what I think of support is, I was made a meme the other day for the first time. I'm kind of flattered because I'm like up next to some of these like really big choreographers. I'm like, all right, like I guess it's like good to be brought up and like talked about, but it like kind of hurts because like people are writing comments about me and I'm like, that kind of hurts. And I think what hurt me was like a lot of my friends and a lot of people who I thought really, who do support me, but were like messaging me like, oh, that's so fucked up. Like, how could someone say that about you? And I'm like, well, write it on the post. Support me, fully support me. Stand up for what's right. Use your voice, be supportive. And I think that is the support that I lack in sometimes where it like hurts the most because I'm like, I stand up by myself so many times and I look around and people are like backing up for me and they're like, oh shit, she's talking about this and it feels good for someone else to stand up. Be like, no, yo, you're right. Or like, no, you're not right, but like, I feel you. You know what I mean? Support is an action. It's not an Instagram post. You know?
Because my next question was going to be, what does support look like for you?
Yeah, it's an action. It's showing up. It's, hey, you need help today? Like, what can I do to help you? I'm showing up at your house and like, even if you just need a friend to be, I don't know. Like, wow. It's support has many layers, but it's truly a verb.
That's interesting because it's a conversation that we had on the podcast with Darrell Bullock, Andy J, and Hollywood one time. And then, like, within that same week, I had that happen, which I never had happen. A friend, someone who I know is busy, and she was like, I have a day off today. How can I help you? And then another day, she's having a tough day, and I was like, hey, if you're okay not being alone, why don't you come over and be in the worst mood ever, and I'm here.
Support.
Yeah. And
we need more of that.
Yeah. And From everyone.
It's hard, though, because there's some things that I don't want to support. But I think that
with friends, like
yeah,
they do something and
yeah, it's like I don't want to support you. I don't believe in this. I don't agree with this. You're the one taking yourself down. But I think being an empathetic human and a compassionate human means just being supportive sometimes, even when you don't want to be. It takes energy to support and hold. Sometimes you have to hold the weight of others in order to, you know, hopefully pass on that message of love and other people pick up on that. Just being a good person. It's hard. Being supportive means doing things that you don't want to do, I guess, sometimes. But it is important.
And with the meme, to kind of go in that vein, you told me there was a post from 2 years ago that was very incendiary. Ooh, incendiary.
Incendiary. That's a good word.
Thank you. My best friend from elementary school just visited. She was here for the week. She left this morning, so I'm happy to be around people. Aww. And she went to law school, but she's a genius and loves reading. And it was so refreshing to just hear things and I'd be like, oh my gosh, yes. Wait, how did you say that again? So anyways.
So good.
Where did we go? Yeah, so this post from 2 years ago.
I was judging for Dance Moms. I had been judging all year long for different competition, and then I started judging for Dance Moms, and a little girl got up on stage and started to dance very promiscuous, and then I was watching that happen, not just one little girl, multiple little girls, watching that happen, and then I watched like Abby Lee Miller walk in, who I think is like on TV very abusive. Maybe off TV she's not, but she's made her image based on how she treats other people like shit.
Children! Also treating children like crap.
Literally. And like condoning these mothers to act the way they do. Like, I'm friends with one of the Dance Moms and I love her. I think she's like hilarious and cool, but like the way she's depicted on TV, like, oh my God. So I fucking had it. I was with my ex, and we were laying on the couch, and I'm scrolling through my phone aimlessly, and I come across a video of a certain female choreographer who has hundreds of thousands of followers. And these little girls are dancing to Beyonce and, you know, pelvic thrusting and slapping each other on the ass. And I was like, I'm done. I've exploded and I'm done. And I wrote a post that I'm not proud of, but I don't take back what I was talking about. And I basically called her out and I was like, you are the actual worst. Like, hashtag then her name. And it is. I called her out, and it was a huge explosion. It went viral, and there was like support and then non-support, which I could understand because the way I said it was really mean.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually had sent me a letter from her lawyer.
Oh.
For slander. And I was like,
oh God.
I was like, it's not slander, girl. This is the truth. So the post was really bad, and the meme that got made about me was like, said how I victimize people. And I was like, this girl's not a victim. Like, all the children she's asking to dance like this and overstretching, like, those are the real victims. But because of the way I said it, I'm seen as this bully, and I still get cyberbullied to this day, like messages from people. And
what are the messages like?
You know, she has all these followers and she's better than you, and you're just jealous that you'll never be as good as her and popular as her and as well known as her and loved as her, and you're a nobody. And I'm like, ouch, if I didn't love myself, that would really hurt, because I don't need to objectify children in order for people to like me.
Yeah.
Or myself.
How do we call people out, or how do we put each other in check? Because also, something I'm coming to is that these are the early days. I'm not saying it's okay to do certain things, but these are the early days of social media. Mm-hmm. Who would have known it would have had this impact? And then people are just figuring out how to use it and what not to do, trial and error. So how do we call each other out, or not call each other out? And like, what do we do?
Well, my dad was like, have her lawyer send another letter. Like, if you put your shit on the internet, you can't expect everyone to like it. Like, it's subject to disagreement, which is the joy of putting your work online. If you're only putting your work online so that people tell you how awesome you are, then what the hell are you doing with your life in general? And, you know, this girl puts her work online and makes a living off of these children and training these children. So I don't think I'm wrong, or anyone's wrong for disagreeing or calling someone out. If you don't like what I do, call me out, and I can agree or disagree. I think it's the way it's done, and that's what we believe, and that's not what I believe. So, you know, this whole post, now that I look back, I do feel bad for the way I did it. I do, and I feel like I've apologized a million times. I don't really know how else to explain that I'm sorry, and I've put in a lot of work to be a better person, but I don't take back what I said. I believe in what I said, and my direction was clear and was correct. And I was standing up for something that I think morally more people should stand up for.
Yeah. And I mean, I think about with my friends, especially like growing up, we made some very different choices, and we could be friends. We could disagree with each other's actions, and we could still be friends. Not saying we all have our boundaries, but I think we can be a community. And also, I would love to one day to be able to be in a community and have it transform into where we can have these conversations and be like, I stand here and you stand there, and that I'm not okay with it, but that's okay. I mean,
how do you learn if you're always right?
Yeah.
How do you learn if people are always telling you how great you are? Like, I don't trust one person in my life that tells me how good I am all the time. Ever. That's like a red flag for me. If you're complimenting me like 18 million times, I'm like, you are not authentic. Because I am not perfect, nor do I claim or try to be. I'm just trying to be happy. I'm trying to be kind. I'm trying to be compassionate. I'm trying to be happy. Oh, now I have this different outlook on children and how to train them and how to talk to them. And, you know, it's little things such as not talking about your body in front of them. Like, oh, I feel so fat today. Like, a child hears that, and if they think you're cool and they look up to you, like, that triggers them. And you could give a child an eating disorder, you know? My teachers shamed my body, and I had an eating disorder for like, I still struggle with my eating, you know what I mean? And, but I had a really bad eating disorder in college and really got into like some really deep, dark crevices. And
do you mind sharing about it at all? Or?
Yeah, no.
Okay. I feel like it hasn't been touched on in 67 episodes, and it's something that happens a lot in the world and in the dance world. I have to be careful with like large comments like that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. I regret bringing up names sometimes, but I think it's important to teach a lesson and pass on a message.
If that's okay, and I'll state, like, I am by no means an expert, a specialist here. I am a human having a conversation and being curious and wanting to talk about it.
I started dieting, I think, when I was like 12 or 13. My mom took me to a dietitian when I was really young, and that triggered me right away. I felt unlovable, and I felt unworthy, and I felt like my body, I always had like a more muscular build. I'm Italian. My dad's a big man, and yeah, I have muscles and big legs, and this is who I am. And I got shamed a lot for that, especially because I was a ballerina. That's all I wanted to do was ballet. So modern dance was an escape for me as well, because my body was different. But I went to college, and my teachers would put us on probation if we gained too much weight. And I was looking around at my friends getting put on probation and told, one time my teacher looked and he was like, 10 would be nice. And I was like, $10? Like, he was like, no, 10 pounds. Like, if you lost 10 pounds, that would be really great. And I was like, fuck you. And so these constant triggers that were happening threw me into a downward spiral. I think starting at like 15, I started to really, 14, have a bad eating disorder. I wouldn't eat. Yeah. And then college, it took the next level because I was on my own. So drugs became involved, and over exercise, and not eating. I would like go a day. Could be potentially triggering, so please be wary.
And if we need to cut something out, we will.
Yeah. This could be like a trigger warning, so I'm going to be sensitive. But I would go days like just not eating. And my teachers would compliment me. You look so good. Oh my God, you've lost so much weight. And little did they know I was using drugs all the time. And I'm not there anymore. Yeah. I'm not there. Thank you, God. I am not there. I have a beautiful new understanding with food and relationship with my body. And I love my body and all of its curves and different shapes it takes on during different times of the month. So, I'm a woman. Hear me roar. You know what I mean? And this is my body. And without my body, I would not be able to move the way that I move.
I wonder why I know there's some of the reasoning behind it, but why this still happens in high school. I saw girls that they were on probation because they had lost so much weight and they were so unhealthy. Like, they weren't allowed to take dance class till they gained some weight. And I saw someone get osteoporosis at 15, I think. And like all these things happen. And in retrospect, and having it's been a long time, you're a kid, and then it's so hard growing into your new body. You don't have this scope of life already. You're in front of a mirror all the time. Dance is hard enough. On top of it, it's like
body shame is so prevalent in dance, and no one wants to talk about it. Like,
I do want to talk about it,
right?
Yeah.
Thank God, because I went to an audition, my first and last audition in LA, and this man looked me up and down, had me turn around, looked me up and down, and said, "No, thank you." And I was like, hold me back, like, oh, so you mean all of my money and time and effort training to be a technically good dancer gets overlooked because you're going to shame my body? And body shame isn't just like saying, oh, you need to lose weight. Body shame is also, you look really good. Oh, girl, you look snatched. You look fierce. Oh, you're so skinny. Oh, you are living. I'm living because I look so skinny. Little do you know, I'm suffering from a fucking eating disorder. And you're triggering me. I was like, good for fucking you. Good for you for noticing. Like, please don't shame my body.
I never thought of it that way. And I always felt like that was, if someone's working hard to go in a direction with their body, to give them an affirmation if you notice it. So I never thought of it that way.
Don't talk about bodies. Don't talk about little kids' bodies, because especially young girls. Like, no one wants to talk about young girls getting their periods because it's like so taboo. But I'm like, that's how you fucking got here, bro. Like, everyone got here because of that. So like, let's talk about it. It changes your body. You're gonna get boobs and hair and things, and your body changes. I mean, I'm 30 years old and my body's still changing.
You're 30?
I am.
I'm 30.
Yes! Oh my gosh. It's so good, right?
Oh my God.
It's so good, right?
I feel like I've been waiting my whole life to be 30 and I didn't know it.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I
heard it gets better too.
Oh, yes.
Like, I feel like my body hurts a little bit more, but like my brain and heart and soul feel so much better.
I love it. And then I have to, okay. Just to round it out with the body shaming, there's also, I feel, a lot of objectification. And it's a tough line because I feel my body's my instrument and that feels very empowering. But I've been objectified on jobs tons of times and I couldn't pinpoint where all of a sudden I didn't want to. It felt like all of a sudden do jobs or do certain jobs anymore. I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do you find your truth when your body is your instrument and you're going to be in front of a camera?
It's something I still challenge.
Yeah.
I'm still challenged by. I mean, even today, getting ready, I was like, oh my God, do I have too much makeup on? Do I not have enough makeup? How do I contour? What is contour?
You look great.
Thanks.
Contour.
Like, what is contouring? Like, do I put on false eyelashes? Like, does my hair look okay? And it's like this constant. I think the camera adds this, like, it's never going to go away. So it's like this added pressure of like perfectionism,
mm-hmm.
and the objectification takes it to a whole nother level because you are objectified as a dancer. I mean, look at half the videos we see on Instagram. These women are claiming female empowerment, like, watch me hump the floor. And I'm like, could you do that without makeup on? Could you get on camera and do a music video and let Chris Brown grind on you from behind if you didn't have makeup on? Would you still feel empowered? Would you be able to go hang out and go on a date with a man? And if you forgot your makeup, would you be okay? Are you truly empowered? Objectification is, I've stopped auditioning in LA. I don't have an agent anymore. I mean, technically got fired, kind of. I mean, I fired him at the same time. We double fired each other. But like, some days I feel like maybe I gave up, and other days I'm like, my purpose is elsewhere. I worked so hard on who I am as a dancer and like who I am as a person. Why are you not even giving me a chance to move? I'm so good. I'm also not going to like strip down on Instagram so that I get more followers. I just can't. I can't. What kind of message am I passing on to children? You are your body? No, you're your soul. Having a human experience, right? So express yourself by dancing. Not by demonstrating.
And I have a tough one because I completely feel you on that. And sometimes I'm so proud of my body now. I'm so proud of it as my instrument, as my I've grown to love it and I've worked to love it. And sometimes I do want to show my body on Instagram, but then I'm like, but now am I turning into the thing that I don't want? And is it for the wrong reasons? And I don't know what to do.
I think that's the best question. What is the reason? What is my reason for posting? I posted a picture yesterday, and I was in a sports bra and leggings, and my stomach was out.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm not holding my stomach in, but I'm going to post it anyway because I'm proud of my body too. Now, do I think like getting in lingerie and like soft porn version with the camera, like I think that's objectification. I do. I don't agree with pornography. I have zero tolerance for pornography, and the way dance is headed right now, I have zero tolerance for it and zero appreciation. I don't think there's anything artistic about gyrating on the floor. But if you want to show your body off because you're proud of it, show your body off, because that authenticity right away, you can't break that. If you're being authentic, then you're being authentic, and it doesn't really matter what other people think. But if you're doing it to get attention, which 99% of people are doing, let's be real. They're not authentic. They're craving attention and the accolades and the people love me because of my body. But if your body changed, would people still love you? Would you still love yourself? I had a little girl the other day. I was like, what do you like about yourself? She goes, I'm really skinny. I said, well, what if you weren't skinny? She's like, if I was fat, no, I wouldn't love myself. 10 years old. But that's what we're teaching our children. I mean, look at the posters around Los Angeles. 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, this guy has chiseled abs and she's like holding on to him. I'm like, that is not real sex. Like, real sex is ugly and aggressive and like weird and uncomfortable, and you don't know because you're experimenting someone else's body. Like, it's the sharing of soul, not the sharing of do I look good in this position, baby? Am I pleasuring you? It's not about pleasuring you. It's about sharing you.
That needs to be like redone, or like redone 50 Shades of Grey posters that would be true to life without being over, but that would be great.
Normalize people. Let's normalize people again.
I love the Instagram comedy accounts where it'll be like, there's this woman from Australia.
Yes, I love her.
Yeah.
What's her name?
I can't remember.
Oh, she's hilarious, and she does all the reposing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And she's great, and she's brilliant. And
Celeste,
I
think is her name, or something like that.
Maybe we'll find her, and maybe we'll do a separate shout out or something like that. But it's wonderful. And when I was thinking back to like the photo I posted the other day, part of it was wanting attention, and Why I felt good about it at the same time was it was the first photo shoot I did, like, really professional, where I didn't have an agent or anyone to answer to, and I could do what felt like me. Like, I didn't feel like I had to put on underwear and a bustier or whatever because that's what the look is supposed to be. I felt like me feels like a cut-off t-shirt and, like, flip-flops.
And that's sexy.
Yeah.
That's sexy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like doing you.
Right. Why do I have to be in lingerie to be seen as sexy? Like, I like teaching in baggy clothes. That's how I feel sexy. That's how I feel myself. And, you know, I think we all post because we want attention. If we didn't want attention, then why would we post? Like, it's okay. Like, I want attention too. I want people, but I don't need them to like me. And I don't need to post in order to be more liked. I have that understanding of social media that I feel like a lot of people get sucked into. Like, their life depends on what their followers think of them and how many people are following them. And if there's not this many people following them, well, then they're not worthy or valid. But no.
Have you felt being on TV shows like you ever had to stand your ground for your artistry or?
Yes. That's how I lost my agent.
Okay. Can I ask about that?
I was on Every Single Step, which was Nigel Lithgow and Brian Friedman created a show. And it was supposed to be this cool web series where it's like, here's our next generation of amazing choreographers. Like, you'll see them on So You Think You Can Dance, hopefully. Like, that was the whole kind of set of the show. And I was like, I got on the show. I killed it. I felt amazing. Made it to the top 4. Insecurity set in. I lost myself. I got taken out of it. I lost it.
Which happens. We're humans.
It happens. At the end, when I got cut, the artists, they made fun of me. They belittled me. They didn't like what I did to their music. And I was like, well, y'all sound like trashy strippers. Like, I don't know what you want me to do to your bad music. Like, this is what I believe in. This is what I made for you. And you don't like it? And they were like, well, ask the 2 of us that were remaining in the end. Well, what would you do different? I was like, I wouldn't do anything different. This is what it is. If you don't like it, fuck you. Bye, Cat, you're cut. Get out of here. Cut. Moving on with my life. Then, So You Think submissions come around. My agent submits me. I get to submit live. The producer is, I think, hands down number 1, my least favorite person I've ever met in my entire life. If I could use the H word, hate, he would be right next to it. I don't hate anyone. I don't believe in that. But if I could believe in that and did believe in that, he's there. Went to the submission, tore my work apart. All right, fuck you. Came back a year later, submitted live. Right after my piece, I felt so proud of what we showed. Right after my piece come women in lingerie and feathers, and they're fanning themselves, and they have the fan between...
Not fanning themselves.
Literally, they have the fan between their legs, like fluffing it. I was like... Oh my God. I had to walk out. I walked out because I was like, I cannot be held responsible for the way I act. And this was when I was very explosive still. I wasn't as deep into my self-worth. So I couldn't control my tongue yet. Scoop to the end of it. All the choreographers are sitting in the room. Everyone's left by this point. And this man, this producer, his name is going one by one, telling each choreographer what he thinks of their work. He gets to me and just rips me to shreds. Now, I love feedback, rip me to shreds, but there's a nice way to do it. You don't have to make me feel like I'm a piece of shit and like I am not worthy. I worked really hard on this, and if you don't like it, that's okay, but you don't have to be mean about it. After me, he goes to the female empowerment piece. He like straightens up. He's like, oh my God, that piece was so empowering. And I was like, fix your... Like... Really? And I raised my hand. I said, I'm sorry. I just need to ask. Isn't this show for children? And the whole room literally went like this. They scooted back. It was like the whole room was moving. And I was like, how are you calling this female empowerment? You're working with children. They are going to watch their favorite dancer fan their vagina? Like, I don't really understand. In bras and underwear, in thongs, in the name of female empowerment? I was like, there is no way. And one person stood up. And that was a victory. One person stood up and was like, I agree. Like, this is bullshit. Like, you're tearing everyone apart for their art, and then you call this brilliant work? Like, fuck you. Long story short, my agent called me 2 days later and was like, we need to talk about what happened. I said, We don't need to talk about anything. You have been non-existent in my dance career. All you do is take 10% from me. I give you my teaching job so that you can try to manage them and ask me 8 questions and then get my 10%. So you have been non-supportive. When that came up, you kept your mouth shut. He was like, well, your ego got the best of you. People don't need to learn lessons. I said, people do need to learn lessons. That was an opportunity to educate, and I'm going to fucking take it. Because So You Think You Can Dance is huge. And if there's another opportunity for another sexualized piece to go on stage, like, no, you wonder why these kids dance like this? They're watching their favorite dancers dance like this. And he was like, I agree with you. And I'm like, but you were too cowardly to stand up. Heard, understood, you were no longer my agent. Best of luck in your life. Click, goodbye. I have no regrets. I'm like, you have no courage. You have no courage because this is all they see. All people see is money, 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 money. So You Think You Can Dance. It's about how many viewers we have. It's not about changing the genre of the show. What a great opportunity to bring me on your show. I'm funny. I'm like different. I'm a new person, and like, your loss, not mine.
Yeah.
But you're not successful if you weren't on the show. You're not successful if you don't have an agent. You're not, if you speak up about what's wrong, then God, how dare you speak up about what matters? Keep your head down and go through the world. That's what we're taught as dancers. Keep your head down. Just do it. You don't like it? Too bad. You're not going to work then, because there's 10 other girls behind you who will objectify themselves.
I think that I just got goosebumps about this. I think that there's 2 things have been collapsed with keeping your head down. I think when we're learning when we're really getting our training, it's important to be, and I know you're not speaking against that. It's important to keep your head down and take all the lessons and work your butt off and don't talk back to the teacher unless it's that 1 in a million times where you need to. But that work hard. But once, especially as you get into your career, you're a human, and it does not mean that. And it's like, that's why I think dance has gone in whatever direction it's gone, and dancers are kind of where they are. I don't know.
Dancers are the shit end of the stick. We're never taken seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, research a lot of these choreographers who sexualize children, objectify children, exploit children, and also sexually abuse children. And there is a handful of teachers and educators who teach on dance conventions, who do different things, who have sexually abused children, and the kids don't want to speak up because they're scared. I dealt with a case, and one of my kids, and the saddest part for me was the mom was like, well, I don't want her to not be successful. I don't want her to speak up and then for her not to book jobs.
And but I know I have been afraid before in that same vein after when I was not a kid of the same thing, speaking up or getting too upset over something because I didn't want to be blacklisted for jobs. Like, I think it goes way past kids. It's so sad that kids are dealing with that. They should be completely protected.
I think I would work more if I kept my mouth shut. I think my parents worry about that a lot. My mom just wants me to be happy and successful, and wants me to work and book music videos and work for all these people who are running the industry. A lot of them I don't agree with. I think that they speak out of one side of their ass, and they use self-work and self-love as this like way to try to connect with people, but they're not authentic. They're exploiting people. And I do think that if I kept my mouth shut more, I would work, because I am talented. I believe in my talent, but I was not put on this earth to keep my mouth shut. I do think that I was born different, and I do think that I have a gift of speaking my truth, and I'm trying to find the right way to do it. Martin Luther King is also someone I read a lot about, and I'm really inspired by, because he did it with love, and I'm trying to figure that out. But that comes back to me and how I view myself. So I'd rather like myself than work all the time, because I think success means being happy rather than like booking a music video and not being seen except for like 1 second and then being able to post the picture after. Like, I'd rather not get humped and have my dad see that. And I'd rather like speak up about what I believe in. That's success to me. And I do feel blacklisted a lot. I do feel like people don't want to work with me, but there's going to be people in the industry that want to work with me because I'm authentic. And I'm so open and ready for those people to come forward because I want to work with those people.
I love
One
it.
in a million, you know?
I love it. And something that's sticky, there's a few things I want to unpack from this conversation. One is the way that we're talking about kids. The second I turned 18, I had a dance teacher and choreographer make like advances towards me, and that's still not okay. That's still not okay. And I think we need more conversations around that. Also, sorry, my brain has just like taken a pause as I see all of these.
I'm sorry
lenses.
that happened also.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened.
Thank you.
That's really unfair.
I respected him.
Yeah. And that's how they get you. It's not people that you would like pinpoint as being creepy. It's the people you respect and the people you trust. And that's the scariest part. That's why I'm so passionate about children, because these people cross the line and the kids.
No, that's just not. I get so defensive about children. That's just not okay. That's not okay. We have to protect them, and I believe in it takes a village to raise a child, and we need to, as a village, protect children. I grew up without censorship, and I was okay with that, but I was also very clear that I was not okay being a sexual object in some ways. Like, and I'd be in dance class and they'd like want us to like touch ourselves for a move. And I remember being like 16 and they said, wipe, not your leg. It was like for a specific move, and I was uncomfortable. I also was not okay shaking my ass. And like, I just was not okay with it, and I got kind of made fun of, and then also I got in trouble by a choreographer, not on a job, just like, no, you have to like pop, and I was not okay with my ass shaking, besides if I was at a party with my friends.
Right.
It wasn't okay for me to be not okay with it, but I was so not okay with it. I would just dance tomboy and let myself be made fun of. And I didn't feel comfortable in my sexuality actually until I was into my early 20s. And then I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I was not okay with this until now, when I am okay with it.
Well, it definitely comes into your real life, your normal life. Like, it affects your relationships with people. I mean, I feel like I've dated men that are okay with objectifying themselves because I feel good about it. I feel good. You don't feel good about it. You're objectifying yourself, and don't try to fucking look at me and pretend that you're okay with it. You struggle with insecurity like everybody else, and it affects me because I'm the same way. I don't deal with it, and like, I get defensive for children too. I have close friends who have been, sexually assaulted in the dance industry, and it literally makes my ears ring like on the daily, knowing that this man still works on dance conventions. Yeah. He's around children all the time.
That's just not cool. I think there needs to be more dialogue. I think that in society, and then we'll keep it moving because I could talk about this all day, but I think in society, men and women need to be more educated on how to deal with each other in encounters and male-female dynamics.
Yes.
We just don't know because we're not talked about it. We don't talk about it. Then you get in situations, and I do believe, I'm not saying it's okay or I condone certain actions, but I think a lot of men and women also, they literally don't know what they're doing. They were not taught. So
also, you don't want to let people down.
Yeah.
Like, not even just in dance, but like going out to the bar, like, or going out to a club, or like, I mean, I'm an adult, so I like to go out and, go on dates. And it's like this whole case with, what's his name? The woman. What's his name? Is this
Aziz Ansari?
Yes. This whole case with him, like, and I don't want to get too much into it because there's a lot of debate, and I don't want to like cross the line and offend anyone. But like, for me as a woman, like, we need to know that it's okay to be like, I'm not going home with you. If you think that this is what that is, you need to sit your ass down, check your ego. You cannot talk to me like that. Like, I meet men that are like, grab me, and I'm like, do not fucking touch me unless I give you the chance. But I'm vocal. I know a lot of my friends. I've been at bars with my friends, and they look at me like, oh my God, this guy just grabbed my ass. And I'm like, where? Where?
No, yeah.
And you're just okay with it, but they never learn.
Yeah.
Men will never learn if we keep like letting
there
them
needs to be just more education overall. What are your thoughts on age shaming? Because we were talking about body shaming, and we were talking about different things. We were really excited to be 30, And what's in my head is like, I even get it now from younger dancers. They don't realize that they're doing it. Like, oh my God, you still look good. Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, you're 30. I never, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I never want to be 18 ever again.
Yeah.
Unless I have the brain I have now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just let it slide. I just kind of laugh it off and I'm like, oh, honey, it's okay. Like, you're 24. Like, I'm not going to shame you back. I'm bad about that too. I age shame too. So I'm really trying not to do that. Like, my ex was younger than me and I shamed him a lot for that. Because I was like, well, you're younger, you just don't get it. Because you don't. Like, I'm sorry. I've been alive longer than you. When you were born, I was already, like, experiencing my body for the first time. So I do feel like age difference is a real thing. But spiritually, we can be on different levels that have nothing to do with our age. Mm-hmm. Sure, but I think brain development, like, our brains don't fully develop until, 25? Mm-hmm. How are you and I going to compare if you're 21 and I'm 31? Like, we're different.
There's this idea, I feel like, in the dance world. I always thought that I was over the hill or about to be over the hill. Mm-hmm. And then now, 30, oh my God, 30. Pure. And it's like, and I feel like that's a conversation that, I don't know, like it's very... Do you feel like you need to actively empower yourself around age, or do you not have anything around it, or?
I struggled with my age for a while. Like I've felt my body changing, which has been really hard for, I was a dancer and now I'm watching 20-year-olds pass me up and because of their age and, now teachers are getting younger and younger and everything's getting younger and I'm trying to really settle into my new body and love myself for who I am and my knowledge rather than my outward appearance or like what other people think of me. And I think that all goes back to self-work and self-care as well. But when people comment on my age, I mean, it's hard because dancers, you're meant to be young. We are meant to be younger. But as a teacher and an educator, I think age is kind of a beautiful thing. You know more. You've experienced more.
And with dance, I'm going to say that I don't fully agree. That's okay.
No,
I understand the it's a young art form. A lot of people, I say, will age and injure out of it. But I think back to, I think it's when Judith Jamison stepped down from Ailey, and I saw this epic performance that had Ailey dancers from every generation. And what I saw on stage as we got older and older, it was not like, oh, they can still move. It was like, oh my God, they're channeling something differently. The way that that confidence of, oh, I've done this a million times. Let me show you with this life experience that I have. They were just incredible.
I love mature dancers. I like working with mature dancers.
Yeah.
I went to Justin Giles' show the other night and he got his ass up on stage and danced and I was like,
how old?
God, he's gotta be in his 40s.
Okay.
I don't know, but he's gotta be. I don't know. I think at least he's definitely older for a dancer, right? But I don't agree with it either. I just think it's what society tells us. You're told at a young age, like your dance career's over when you're 24. Why? I'm so much better now.
Oh my God. And then I have a joke with myself. Like I wasn't flexible anyway. And I was, it's a long story, but I had Lyme's disease. So I had, a few years that I kind of lost. So I'm like, my body in my 20s was not doing me much of a service. It really has actually gotten better. Like it anyway wasn't doing anything crazy, amazing. And I was always sore. So,
right.
I don't know.
I love getting older.
Yeah.
It's not for the weak.
No.
That's for sure. But I'm not worried about wrinkles. I have gray hair and my mom's like, are you going to dye those or pick them out? I'm like, no, let's just rock it. Let's rock it. It is what it is.
I love it.
It's my experience, man.
I love it.
I was literally in a music video, and we were there for like 20 million hours. It was a big music video. It was The Neighborhood. I did it with Ian Eastwood, who's one of my favorite people ever. And we were in this video, and I literally improv'd and danced. There is a one clip. That's it. One clip. But I get to put it on my resume, and I get to tell people I did it, I guess. Yep. It was a great experience.
It's just like I believe that dancers can take everything they want into their hands and make everything happen and not need to abide by the 10 commandments of the gatekeepers.
There's some like weird, I relate it to like Monsters Inc. The Claw.
I haven't seen Monsters Inc.
Oh my gosh, you gotta see it. No, it's not Monsters Inc. It's Toy Story.
Oh, the
Toy
Claw.
Story. The Claw. It's like the dance
Watch
industry is not the Claw. Like there is not one governing person reaching down to pick us up. Like you create. Ian said this. His parents said this to me. Like you create your own path. Like that's why I love Ian Eastwood, because he truly created dance on YouTube. I mean, this kid changed the way we post online, and like how inspiring. You can do anything you want.
Artists, they take things from dancers a lot of the time. We're trendset, like it's just incredible what we can do and what we can build together. And I don't know the full story, but there's a lot of freestylers that I really, really respect, and I see how they've built their own brand, and how the biggest of companies like Lil Buck, you have these massive campaigns. He's gone on tour with Madonna, and he's doing him. And that inspires me, actually. That's what is like fueling me right now. And I believe that we can do that. Now imagine if someone like Lil Buck, and he's so talented. Let's say he could kill anything, but imagine if he had tried to conform. Like, you know?
That's why he's so special.
But I think that there's a lot more of those and a lot more of that in us, especially when we don't feel like we fit and we don't have to sit in a corner and be upset about it. I remember seeing him, and again, I don't know his whole story, but I remember seeing him at Carrie from Carnival would have these freestyle events, and like 5 people would show up. And I remember when a bunch of dancers from Memphis, I think She Street was one of them, Lil Buck, there are more and I'm blanking out, and they would go and they'd battle. There'd be like no one in the club. They would battle with all of their heart, like old sneakers, and just to see that, and that like there's not like, just sticking to their truth.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're told to fit in though. If you can't beat them, work with them, I guess. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it looks different for different people. Because I was thinking about this today. Some people are meant to be in the core. Some people, they are going to kill it behind, like that is their art. And some people just do not feel right. And I think we're all meant to be in those different avenues, but it doesn't.
Commercial dance, I think, is an art within itself. Like if you can dance behind an artist and be clean and on tour, and that is not me. I question everything. I'm like, well, why? I'm not you. I don't have to do that. I'm not ever going to look like you, because I don't move like you. I move like me. So I've always known that about myself, but that's also been my downfall. That's why I didn't book a lot of commercial jobs, because I'm not a clean dancer. I'm technically strong, and I have a lot of different influence under my belt, but I'm not, I can hit a line, but cleaning, and it's just not where my heart lies. And Jackie Royal was one of the best choreographers for me for that. Like, she taught me how to really clean it up. And I loved her for that. Like, it was very specific. And she would give space for artistic freedom every now and then, but most of the time it was like pretty clean. And I loved that, but it's not my passion.
What do you recommend for people, and this includes myself, as we try to discover our own truths? Because even as I'm getting back into my own training as a dancer and getting in class and having a blast, that rhymes. I get certain notes, and I love notes, and I'm like, I want to master this, but there's a little voice inside of me that wonders, should I also master the things I'm doing wrong and go in that direction, and is that meant to stylistically be something that I own? And I'm like, I don't know, but I have that thought, and I don't know what to do with it. What?
I think understanding the unknown is what helps create your art. You know, like trying on those different articles of clothing and like, all right, I respect this. Like, I respect you. I respect the style. It doesn't feel right on me. Now, am I saying it doesn't feel right because I'm scared and because it feels different and because I'm unsure? Or does it really just not something that I feel passionate about? So I think the digging into that, because what we don't know and what we're not good at is important for our training, too.
How do you keep fueling? And you say these great things, and I want to acknowledge them, and then I'm like, I need to keep the conversation going. But I'm like, oh, that was a gem. How do you keep going and being in the commercial world, and now sometimes not being in the same space as you were when you created maybe some of your favorite things, and still have an authentic pool to pull from?
Self-work. Self-work. I've made so much of my focus on self-work. I don't feel like I'm really anywhere anymore. I just feel like I'm trying to work less for the man and work more for myself. And if I'm happy about what I'm doing and I'm inspired by what I'm doing, I don't take classes anymore because I need to take it so that I can say that I took it. Like sometimes I do, but I really try not to anymore. It just doesn't make me happy. I'm trying to make dance not my job anymore. Like I'm tired of it being my job. And that's like the really hard part. It's been the hardest part about growing up in it. Because you're right, like years ago I was making work that I loved, and I posted these videos that, you know, and I was looking at my YouTube the other day, I was like, damn, I haven't made like a new video that's like really hit it. I don't know, I haven't really been that inspired, and I don't know. So I'm in a really interesting place in my career right now. I feel like I'm like right at the edge of a breaking point. Like I'm really close, like to something, but I don't know what that something is. I think it's my own version of enlightenment, honestly. I think when I fully feel happier with myself, that those jobs are going to come flying at me.
For all of the things that you feel like you maybe haven't gotten, what's been something that you've gotten that you felt was like, oh, I'm on my path, or was a victory for you?
Being on every single step was a huge victory for me. I want to be on television. I want to act. I want to have my own TV show. Like that's my dream. My ultimate goal, like my ultimate commercial goal, I guess, is to be on television and have a show. So that was like a really good moment for me because I really felt like I held it together and I was good until that last episode where I got cut. Teaching on a convention has been like a big yes for me. Gosh. Yeah. I think those two things were really big goals of mine. My next goal is to choreograph for this band called Rainbow Kitten Surprise. I like send them messages almost every day. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? Like, you ready for a new music video? Hit your girl up. So I want to choreograph music videos. I want to be given a task and have to do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Have you been ever given something that's scary, exciting, like challenging? You're ready, but you're like, oh!
Yes, my friend, we go way back. She's now this like hugely famous star. Her name's Esther, and she's hilarious. And her friend just started a new show. It's on Freeform.
Oh, cool!
Small little plug.
Yeah,
and it's called Alone Together. It's not really, I don't think, appropriate for younger people, but it's like a cheeky, funny, like sexy show. And she hired me to choreograph on one of her episodes.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I'm not ready for this. And it was like a 60s, I think, little swing dance. And I got there and we made up something really quick. And the director was like, she's like, well, that didn't wow me. And I was like, you gave me 5 minutes with Esther. Like, she's not Gene Kelly. Like, he didn't create dance in 2 minutes. Like, you need to give her time to train. So that was a really big moment for me. That was like my biggest one so far, choreographing for a TV show. But it's like just a little sliver.
I love it. Okay, I think I'm ready to start like winding down. I could talk to you forever.
Me too.
You're so cool.
Oh my gosh.
Is there anything that I haven't brought up that you're like, okay, you ready? So I have a question. I'm so curious what you think. Do we have the license as artists to share all stories? And I can elaborate. I will actually. As we have a lot happening with racial injustice and injustices all over the world, I feel inspired to create dance based on it. But then I feel like, oh, this isn't my story to share. But I want to. I really, really want to.
Do it.
What's your view on that?
Do it. If you're, again, coming back to authenticity, like if you authentically believe and really, truly want to do it to pass on a message, then do it. You know, there was that huge debate with that post that, and I was one of the people that kind of was like, I don't believe this for 1 second. I just don't. I don't believe that you're being authentic, and that's me. I don't know you personally. I've any experience I've had with him has not been super positive for me, so maybe that bias kind of got in there. But I don't know. When I think of a platform like that, it just doesn't seem authentic in that space. So many choreographers you could have used to do that.
Yeah. My question is, you're saying that was if he had created the video just because he really wanted to, and would it have received the same critique if it was like just on his own platform? Because I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tricky subject.
It's so tricky.
It's tricky because it's like, well, I really want to, I had a friend make a piece about sex abuse and rape. And I was like, but you've never been raped before. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that you're doing that. I have personal experience with this. This has happened to me. And I don't like that you're making a piece about it so that you can get 50 fucking million views on YouTube in the name of, like, spreading awareness. Like, you don't fucking know. Let me make the fucking piece. You know what I mean? So I hear you. It's a tricky debate.
It's so tricky.
It's like, I think if it's done as well as you can do it and you do it with love, then that's really all that matters. And you know what? If made that piece because he believed in it and he loved and he really, then who the hell are we to dog him? And it shouldn't bother him that anyone dogs him because everyone's gonna have their own opinion. But if he believed in it, it doesn't really matter what we think.
I like that. I want it to be a conversation because I want us to still be able to all share as artists, but I want us to also be able to have those conversations, and it's okay to not be okay with it. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm being super Switzerland over here.
Yeah.
But
it's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard because dance is such a great way to express and like bring color and light to these things. But when it's commercialized and commodified, then it feels different. Like,
yeah,
making money off of this video. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I know that if it's something from like a specific background that I have, and it was somebody on this great platform that had been chosen to do the choreography, and I'm like, there's so many of us. So it's 1,000 years from now. It used to be 200 in the interviews. It's 1,000 years from now, and you're chilling on a cloud and you're looking at life, however weird Earth is at that point. What do you want to be remembered for?
Standing up for what's right. And helping people. Helping people. Yeah. I want to be that place that people can come and share and be themselves and not feel judged. I just want to help people. It's just a difficult responsibility because it's heavy. Some days I don't want to help anyone. Some days I teach class and it gets emotional, and then people want to talk to me and I don't want to talk to them after. I just want to go home and go to sleep. Like, I gave you my hour and a half of my energy. Like, I'm tired. I'm emotionally exhausted. Like, let me go. But I also know that God or Mother Nature or the universe, whoever put me here, gave me a purpose. I believe in that. And I know that sometimes, like we're talking about with support, that I have to sacrifice pieces of myself in order to support others. Just trying to find the fine line and balance. It's hard.
It's hard when you put yourself out there. What are some of the sacrifices that you've had to? We talked about it on the phone, and I was like, that's what I've been trying to remember. What are some of the sacrifices that you've made?
It's lonely. It's so lonely. And like my ex, he and I just broke up 6 months ago. We were together for 4 years, and I miss him every day, and I miss our friendship, and I miss our camaraderie, but I don't miss the way I felt. And I find the more I meet people, I'm already kind of like, it's like, I don't want to help you. I don't want to come home to my fucking husband and have to help him. Like, I need support too. And I need someone who, my ex, he was really hard on me, and he would kind of tear my work apart. And he, to him, that was him showing love. And to me, that was abusive, because I don't need my boyfriend to tear my work apart. I need my boyfriend to tell me how fucking amazing I am. Not because of my ego, but just because, like, sometimes you just need that from the person you love. Like, I don't want to be working all the time. Yeah. And it does feel lonely. It's hard to make friends. I feel like sometimes I mistrust why people want to be my friend. I've come across a lot of people that have become my friends so that they can use me. And, I work with people sometimes who take my work and I feel like they're using my work but not living the message a lot. Like, I miss my family. I want to have a dog and I can't have one. There's a lot of sacrifices that we don't talk about. I think the loneliness is the biggest one. Yeah. Dance is hard, man. Dance is hard. It's so satisfying, though.
It's so hard.
When you do it for yourself, it's so satisfying. Like, when you truly wake up and you're like, I get to go take this amazing class with Meg Lawson, who just like is one of my biggest inspirations, and Jillian Myers, and these amazing, beautiful souls who are just like so cool because they're authentic. Because they're who they are. And they became the Seaweed Sisters because I don't believe that they were trying to do something cheeky. They are weird ass people, and they brought it to film, and that inspires me. That authenticity right there. Like, we're the Seaweeds. Yeah, you are. Y'all are some weird ass people. Ryan Heffington. Thank God. They've carved a path for us weirdos. Some of us know we weren't meant to fit in, and I'm really excited for that. I'm scared for the people who try to be weird because it's cool. Because I remember the first time someone called me weird, it hurt my feelings. And now it's like, all right, you're right.
I shouldn't share this, but...
Do it. Do it anyway.
One of my best friends growing up, she was super just always confident. And I had low self-esteem. I would write in my journal, I don't know why she's friends with me. I have nothing to offer. Like, my concept of self was so low, and I'm not mad at it because I believe my journey from there to ever be confident, to be on a mic, to be in front of a camera, to me, I get to carry all the progress I've had to make to get there.
Yes.
That said, super confident. She was, oh my God, she was always, everyone would talk about how pretty she was. I was told I was unique, which as a kid, like, unique is not it's just not popular. Like, it's not happening. Although I think unique is great now. So she would always be like, oh, Glee, you're weird. And she would tell me I'm weird, and it just, like, fed into, like, low self-esteem, all this stuff. The other day, this is, like, if you're sensitive, just mute or whatever. She's, like, crouching to go to the bathroom on the toilet, which is, like, like, one of the things she does is she will, like, climb on a toilet to go to the bathroom.
Because it's more healthy for you.
But I'm turning so red. I'm like, I didn't even see that because I was so stuck in I'm weird and therefore it's bad and all this shame from someone who crouches on a toilet. Not that I should shame her. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Though?
Everybody's
Okay.
weird. The person that shamed me is like one of the weirdest people I've ever met in my entire life. I was like, okay. Do you feel like your self-esteem is better now?
Yes. It shows up in different ways. I still apologize all the time. And if I don't say sorry, I have a million ways to say sorry without saying sorry. I actually don't even know what self-esteem means anymore, to be real. But yes, because I'm not willing to be in that place that low self-esteem will take you. Because when you treat yourself that way, people feel they can treat you that way. And especially with my art, which I love, and my purpose, which I feel very passionate about, if I honor low self-esteem, then I'm not honoring that, and I'm not okay with it. So my mantra this year is be undeniable. So therefore, again, if I'm, not to be redundant, but if I'm not believing in myself, how dare can I be upset with that person not believing in me? And when people don't believe in me, I get kind of pissed off. So yeah, I think that might answer it. I deal with it, it's there, but I get to be like, you're not, no. Yeah, and I don't take it seriously anymore.
I struggled a lot with my confidence too until very recently. And I feel like my classes have changed because of it. Like, because my message, I'm living it. Because it's easy to tell other people what to do, right? It's easy to like offer good advice. And I feel like I've always taught a class like this, but now that I'm living it truly, it's like my whole class has changed. My whole way of life has changed. I love myself so much more. It's so nice.
I feel like I have to be uncomfortably confident to then be in the space where I find things work. But it's scary because it's just not what I'm used to. I spent most of my life being a little bit more meek. Were you always you are so, I love that you're so vocal, and I love that you say what's on your mind. It's very, I said it before we record, it's very refreshing for me. I look up to that. I actually would aspire to be more like that. Were you always like that?
Always.
You're one of those.
Always. My parents are like that. My parents are like, where did she come from? I'm like, and then my mom's yelling at this guy on the street. I'm like, oh my God, like that's where I came from. My dad's a New Yorker. So it was in my blood, girl. I've always been that way. I've always spoken my truth. Now, have I always been as brave and on such a big platform? I don't know. I can't really remember, but I have always spoken up. about what I believe in.
And to bring it full circle, when you talked about being vulnerable and like sacrifices, like it's hard, man, when you're like on those jobs or when you're all of that. If you weren't doing that, I feel like the game, and I mean you as in anyone, your game's not big enough if you're not a little bit scared by it. Scared by it and a little bit unsure, because if we stick to what's safe, I'm on such a soapbox right now. If we stick to what's safe, that's a survival mechanism, but we're not in the wild, in the wilderness anymore, so now it's about thriving.
Happiness is also an action.
Ooh.
I'm reading this really good book. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Okay.
And he's talking about, so good, right? He's talking about how happiness is an action. When we're striving to make things happen, that's when we're actually happening. So the stress, okay, so I'm looking for a new apartment. The actual stress of looking for a new apartment is like so anxiety driven and like, oh my God, fearful. I'm scared. What if I don't find a good place? But I know that at the end of it, when I find that right place and I move in and I feel good and I'm over my ex and like moving forward with my life, that is happiness. The struggle to get there is what makes us happy. So my mantra for this year is be fearless.
Ooh.
Truly be fearless. And not just say that I am, but like truly, like when I see something online, not question it. Send in a submission right away. Not think about, well, what if they don't like me? What if they think I'm too big of a big mouth on the internet? You know, submit, boom. You don't like it? Fuck you. It's your loss, not mine. Yeah. I'm trying to live with more of that.
I love it. I'm going to take that in my bag.
Yeah.
How can people follow you, find you, support you?
You can follow me online at Cat _ my last name, Cogliandro, Cogliandro. You can also follow my dance company called Catastrophe Dance, online as well. And we're a dance company promoting self-love and self-worth and trying to inspire kids to be healthy and happy. And you can also follow YPAD online, YPAD for Change. An amazing organization.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Oh, work your quirk too. That's my hashtag that I've created. You can work your quirk as well by being yourself.
I love it. I want to acknowledge you for being that, and the way that it manifested for me today is I believe in being presentable and honoring your body and honoring your guest, right? With sometimes what you wear, how you present yourself. Today, I felt like my truth was wearing sweatpants and this shirt that didn't do too well in the wash and this sports bra. And I was like, but there's cameras. I felt dishonest for me to be any other way today. And I felt like I could have fun being that, and that maybe it'll give somebody a different perspective on how they can show up in the world if maybe they see more cookie cutter than they are. Do you know what I mean? So that actually already, the way that you are, impacted me with this platform. And I want to thank you for taking the time and being so straight up and being interesting and going there and letting me go there and step out of my comfort zone. And like, really thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored that that you want to know what I have to say.
Yeah.
And that really, thank you. Thank you for giving me a place.
Absolutely. And
thank you.
And Steve Butler, who can be followed on social media SBJ. I'm not like looking at the camera, looking at him. 3000.
SJB.
Damn it!
SJB
3000, right? The number 3000. SJB 3000. So that's Instagram. And Twitter. And then website is
StephenJButler.net.
StephenJButler.net. Stephen, don't hate me. This is real, y'all. And I want to thank everyone for watching, for listening, however you're catching the podcast. I made the choice to have this be, again, raw and not super polished. I prefer to work from there and deliver something to you that's real. So thank you, and be on the lookout for our Indiegogo campaign so we can get more video up. Yeah. Bam. Woo! Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Before you leave the page, be sure to leave a positive review. If you have something less than positive, just email me, dancespeakpodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to subscribe. Enjoy your day.